Okay, time to go outside the mountain and into one of the best battle themes in this game that you'll be hearing quite a lot from here on. Okay, the Pokemon here are starting to get a little bit more interesting at least. Let's just hope their movesets prove somewhat interesting. And yeah, I've said this before, but a lot of people associate this song with the higher floors of Mount Battle just because it's where it most often plays. It is kind of weird that this is the only battle theme that's never really associated with any main storyline fight. As I've said, the only time during the main story where you'll hear this, like where you're guaranteed to hear this theme, is your first mandatory fight through Pyrite Colosseum, because that's the only Colosseum challenge that's mandatory. Well, technically the final battle is also a Colosseum challenge, but it doesn't use the semi-final theme. I was hoping that'd come out next, because I'm just going to Psychic that in the face. This song is still really good, though. Yeah, that wouldn't really do all that much. Dragon Rage? Yeah, I was wrong about the movesets being impressive. The animation is kind of interesting, though. Guess it harkens back to its Pokédex description in this generation, describing it as a shockwave. Which I suppose kind of makes sense. At least I think its Pokédex description described it as a shockwave. I know the Dragon Pulse was described that way in later generations. Okay, there's Dusclops. I may have to get Soul out of here now. This is the main reason I brought Luna to this. And another Dragon Rage! Yay! Remember how I was talking about good stats, bad move pool Pokemon earlier? Well, Kingdra is one of the most classic examples of that. Kingdra is a Pokemon that got much better in Gen 4 with the physical special split, but mainly Outrage getting buffed. Maybe if I got a few better rolls on my fan attacks earlier, that Psychic would have finished off Kingdra. But yeah, with Outrage getting buffed and getting Draco Meteor, it just generally got a lot better in Generation 4. In this generation, Kingdra had decent stats, but its move pool was just not that great. The only special dragon move, well, the only decent special dragon move was Dragon Claw, and Kingdra, obviously, having no arms, can't learn that. So it was stuck with Dragon Breath. But yeah, it did have decent stats. It just couldn't quite back it up with, although some other people have mentioned pre-gen, was it 3 or 4? I know that, like, Crobat had a terrible move pool back in Gen 2. Although still, yeah, watching the history of Kingdra/Seadra competitively was funny looking at Seadra in Gen 1, which had such a non-existent move pool that the 4 moves it commonly ran in competitive were pretty much the only 4 viable moves it had. And one of them was Smokescreen, that should tell you something. So things are getting slightly more interesting here. Let's hope it continues that way. Dialogue certainly isn't getting any more interesting, though. I mean, there are a few standout lines here, but most of them are pretty boring. It definitely would have made all of the battles we have to go through a lot more interesting if they'd at least given some better dialogue to the characters here, but I've gone on about that way too long at this point. I was thinking that I have to bring Jumpluff for that Pupitar, and I was like, wait a minute, what am I thinking? I have Suicune. Of course, I can just surf everything. Well, surf the Pupitar. Well, I guess I will have to surf everything, because, stupid Fire Blast. Fire Blast is one of those moves that, it's supposed to be reliable, but I never have much luck with it, personally. I've honestly had more luck with Stone Edge than I've had with Fire Blast. And Hydro Pump. Like, despite the fact that Hydro Pump has worse accuracy than Fire Blast, I've just never had much luck with, it. Also, this is the reason why I think that Aerodog should get an evolution/regional form /mega that is Bug Psychic. That's the reason. It learns a lot of Psychic moves. Please use an Electric move on me. Although I doubt you will, because your movesets are probably quite bad at this point. I mean, Psychic is not a bad move, but Aerodog's special attack is terrible, so not exactly that well served using Psychic. Okay, please use an Electric move. Amnesia. Well, I forgot the Lantern even learned that. Okay, now surely one of you is going to be using an Electric move on me. Not sure switching in Soul is the safest option, but as I said, surely one of you is bound to use an Electric move on Suicune, so maybe Miracoat will finally do something for once? Let's see. Oh, that's really bad. You're probably just going to keep using Amnesia, aren't you? Shut up. And that's not a stat boost in this gen, but... Right. That Raichu needs to go now. That Lantern is going to be really bad. I only have special attackers. Just didn't expect that thing to have a move like that. Now, if you were to, for some reason, actually be smart and use a charged electric attack, okay, good thing the double team spammer is down. But if you were to use a charged electric attack on Suicune, that'd be much appreciated. Please don't hit Soul. That'd be really, really bad. Okay, good. Right, that Mirror Coat's going to smack you for a lot of damage in return, unless I, okay, good, didn't get fully paralyzed. Oh, hey, it one-shot it. Nice. Well, it's kind of got its own charge to blame for that. But hey, Mirror Coat actually did something, so that's good. I mean, admittedly, I replaced Gust with it, and Gust wouldn't have really done much in general. So I suppose Mirror Coat is more useful than Guts by default. Gust. Going with kind of an odd league combination here, Soul and Jumpluff, but here's something really strange. I could have sworn I saw this guy's exact opening quote before. So are they just reusing dialogue now? I mean, again, it's kind of understandable because, actually this is a bad lead for Soul. It's kind of understandable because they have so many trainers here. Like, they had to do essentially 300 Mount Battle trainers. Story mode, battle mode, and, well, story mode and both versions of battle mode. Right. I'm going to go ahead and use Protect here. Just to scout out whether you have Shadow Ball or not. Because if you do have Shadow Ball, I may have to switch out or risk losing my perfect win streak. If I keep my perfect win streak through this area, I'm going to be very surprised. I mean, perfect win streak as in no fainting. I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't expect to actually lose any of these fights, but some of my Pokemon may faint. So what are you going to do? Nightshade. I can feel confident that you probably don't have Shadow Ball, although like I said, I should not be speaking too soon. So let's just, I suppose I could Psychic the Banette and Giga Drain the Octillery, even though I'm sure this is not going to 1-hit KO. I'm actually very surprised that I 1-hit KO'd that Cogsire. Though, I mean, admittedly, I'm used to being a little under-leveled for main story opponents, so being equally leveled is something that I'm not entirely familiar with, I guess, so maybe Jumpluff is doing decent damage with its grass moves against water types. I actually don't know if these Pokemon have any effort points or not. Like, it seems like to get this far without specific... Yeah, well, that wasn't Ice Beam, but still, it's kind of bad. To get this far without EV-trained Pokemon... Okay, Citrus is definitely better than Orange, so I'll give you credit for that. But to get this far without EV-trained Pokemon, it would kind of assume that these Pokemon are not EV-trained at all. It doesn't really feel like they are, although that Linoon earlier was outspeeding some of my faster Pokemon, so... I guess they are... I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how the EVs work here, or even IVs for that matter. And I still find Octillery's fanning animation kind of amusing. And just stomp. Except it looks more like a slap. Yeah, there's a lot of dissonance between the animations in this game sometimes. Like Kecleon using Slash with its head somehow. Although it's still not as funny as Lopunny's standard attack animation hitting things with its, yes, with its rear end. Especially funny when it's returned because it makes hearts come out. Oh yeah, speaking of which, return. Guess I should mention that, now. So yeah, the number of hearts that come out with return, I think, is indicative of how much power it has. But I'm still not sure whether 4 hearts, which is actually how many hearts Dan Green is getting here, whether that means, like, actually max power, or just a high level of power, like 80 or above, because with my Entei moveset, I have Iron Tail there. Iron Tail is 100 power, which means that unless return is at its absolute maximum, I'm probably better off using Iron Tail. Well, I mean, there's the accuracy issue, but yeah, Iron Tail will usually hit harder if it's neutral. So that's why I need to know whether return is at its absolute maximum or not, and I kind of doubt that it's at its absolute maximum. And yes, this trainer has a lot of better Pokemon. I doubt they have really good movesets, but the problem is this is our first time seeing a Gyarados here, and that's a Pokemon that I had a lot of trouble with during the main story. One of the few things my team actually struggles with. But you do tend to struggle with Gyarados unless you have electric moves, so kind of makes sense. Surprised I didn't... Oh, wait, actually, shouldn't be too surprised, because Xatu has bad defenses. I've said it before, but I keep thinking that Xatu has high defenses, but it really doesn't. Strength. Yeah, that in... Okay, that did less than I expected. I was about to say that into Soul is still going to hit quite hard, but... we'll see. I like how Xatu looks when it uses Confuse Ray, by the way. The way that it moves its arm, it does like left, right, and both of them, and then Confuse Ray. Well, at least the Gyarados is down. And hopefully Soul will survive to take this Machamp down. I have to wonder, what do people prefer? The star confusion animation? Uh-oh. Well, that's physical, so... And perfect win streak gone! Don't exactly know how high Xatu's attack stat is, but Espeon's defenses are bad enough that that was enough to do it. Okay, the Machamp is suddenly looking a lot scarier now. So yeah, that's my perfect win streak gone. I got up to, I think, like, area 63 before that happened. Or zone 63, yeah, that's the terminology there. Which is the bigger threat here? Maybe I should just detect just in case Suicune manages to finish things off here. And also just scout what they're going to be doing. Please don't hit yourself. Good. Yeah, I wonder which is more popular, the stars or these circling birdies for confusion. Or the one in earlier generations where it was just question marks appearing. I actually kind of had a soft spot for that animation, especially the sound effect that accompanied it. Okay, this is definitely a better slacking than the area leader of Area 1's. Okay, you're just going for submission. I guess I should mention something. Submission's animation, not here, but mainly in the handheld games, seems to imply the move involves spinning somehow. Yeah, for some reason, in the English version, they localize it as submission, but in the Japanese version, it's named after a wrestling move called, I think, like the Hell Wheel or something. I'm not really that familiar with wrestling, but... Oh! That's interesting. Do you have a Persimberry, though? You do! Okay, the trainers here are starting to get smarter. I should definitely stop, I should definitely be paying more attention from here on out. Yeah, it's once you get outside the mountain, up on the summit, things start getting a little bit more difficult. Okay, good, the slacking is gone. Kind of weird the slacking sort of wasted its, turn buffing its ally rather than... Okay, someone's getting hit very, very hard here. Well, I've still only lost one Pokemon so far. And you're taking a lot of recoil damage yourself. So, I am faster, so this should presumably not, end badly. But I'm going to switch Suicune out just because I don't want to have two fainted Pokemon here. Rip the streak. But yeah, I was pretty confident that I was not going to be getting the perfect win streak throughout the entire of Mount Battle. Doesn't mean that I can't get any more perfect wins going forward, though. And I have over 60 continues at this point, so it's not like I really need any more. Well, you make the honor roll of trainers so far. Yep, so 64. 63 battles, all with no Pokemon fainting. I'd say that's pretty impressive, but the early battles are extremely easy. And we go from that to a team with all flying types that has a Delibird. It's weird, the difficulty of trainers is kind of all over the place here. It feels like difficulty spikes at weird points within each area. Sometimes it's like even some of the lower trainers who have more challenging teams than the later ones, rather than a gradual progression. But like I said, it's kind of harder to do a gradual progression of difficulty because there's just so many Pokemon, and it's so hard to consider all of the different combinations of them. Oh hey, you both have exactly the same HP, that's pretty funny. But yeah, as we've learned throughout this whole playthrough, Pelipper has bad special defense. Right, so we're actually seeing decently fast Pokemon here too. I remember back in Gen 3, I think Dodrio was considered the best of the normal flying birds, and then Staraptor came along. And then Dodrio fell like all the way to MU or something. Or even lower. Kind of sad because, as I said, back here... that double target, that's annoying. We're not one-shotting everything all the time, so I guess it makes sense that we're at risk of more damage ourselves here. I'm not entirely sure if Suicune is going to one-shot the Altaria either, because Altaria has pretty good special defense. No, one-shot it. Good. So what we got next? We just have the Murkrow. Helping Hand at Ice Beam, I guess? But yeah, I do remember Dodrio was generally considered one of the best, well, the best of the normal flyings at this point in the series, just because of its better stats overall, access to Drill Peck. There weren't many flying types that had Drill Peck at this point. And then, I mean, I still had to rely on things like Hidden Power fighting, because back then Hidden Power could be physical. And hey, we got a perfect win there, but it was a little bit closer than the earlier matches, so I can safely say things are finally getting interesting. I say that, and then we suddenly have a trainer who has Quilava, Bayleaf, and Celio. What is with the difficulty progression here? The one with the Persianberry swagger should have been much later in this area. They're way harder than anything else we're facing. Oh, well. Okay, just for a second I just thought that I'd use Shadow Ball in the Giraffe Rig, and then I realized, oh wait, it's part normal. Which is exactly why High Jump Kick is not going to be super effective. Well, actually not exactly why, because it also has a part Psychic, but yeah. Didn't need super effective though. So Giraffe Rig goes down. I still find it weird that there isn't a Shadow Giraffe Rig in this game. Well, there's Miltank, an actually kind of decent Gen 2 Pokemon. I don't know, I kind of like Miltank. I think I trained one up once, haven't really in a while though. It is in some ways, I mean, it's actually not that much like Blissey now I think about it. I mean, it often gets compared to it being a, like I said in its bio, a normal type, defensive normal type with a recovery move, but... See, Quilava, why? Why is this a thing that exists? This battle is going to be over, like, in a few seconds. Well, not exactly seconds, since, I think that might be the first time we're seeing Miltank. No, it's probably not the first time we're seeing Miltank's fanning animation, because I think it was earlier in this place. But yeah, Miltank's fanning animation is disturbing. It looks like it's strangling itself. But yeah, this battle is over now. Why did this fight exist? I don't know. Just when this place seems to... tricks me into thinking that it's actually going to be challenging, then it suddenly isn't. I don't think I took any damage in that fight at all. So anyway, hopefully you prove to be more of a challenge. Mono Rock type. It was kind of hard deciding whether to lead with Jumpluff or with Suicune here, because there are a few Pokemon this girl has. Some of them aren't weak to grass, and some aren't weak to water. So it depends, but I think I made the right call here, because both of those are weak to water, and I chose Suicune. Yeah, because she has a Credilli as well. I guess Suicune's Ice Beam is effective against the Credilli. But... wow, that Nosepass is bad HP. Yeah, Nosepass is not that great, but like I said earlier, its evolution is... oh yeah, Bugriz is fighting. Of course it does, because Scizor, otherwise Scizor would be weak to fighting. And Forretress. And, well, Trash Wormadam at that rate, even though nobody really cares that much about Trash Wormadam, even though it's still decent, because of its typing in situations where Forretress isn't allowed. There's apparently a one of the Wormadam forms that has the wrong move. Like, it has Leaf Storm, it's like the Sand Wormadam, and it has Leaf Storm instead of, annoyingly enough, the move that it should have is Fissure, but oh well. Now here, I am going to be super effective against that, because the typing that I keep thinking resists fighting, but actually doesn't, Grass. Credilli does have a lot of potential, but that one did not realize it at all. Now that's a non-weakened Surf, and it was enough, good. So that was another incredibly easy battle. Again, I don't think anything got an attack off, at all. You probably should have used a Jigglypuff if you have a defeat quote like that. Yep, didn't take any damage. I like how you can see, like, the next, like, the whole 3 zones from here. This is interesting. This team is Mono Dark, and it basically is Sydney's team from Ruby and Sapphire, or the Emerald version of his team, actually, I think. Apart from the Umbreon. It's got an Umbreon on it, but then I realized Sydney only has 5 Pokemon, so for all we know, he could potentially use an Umbreon if he ever used 6. Forget if he did in the Aurus rematches or not. I know it was one generation where he had a Sharpedo, and well, not generation. Like he had a slightly different team in Emerald as compared to the original Ruby and Sapphire, and in one of them he had a Sharpedo, and the other one he didn't. But I forget which is which. And I think he had an Absol in one, but not the other. I know, or I'm pretty sure he had Shiftry in both versions. I think he had Mightyena in both versions. It's been a while since I checked his team, but I know that he changed a little. Oh wait, no, he wouldn't have had Shiftry in both versions, because he either had a, he replaced it with Umbreon in one. Well, that would have been better when Shiftry was still on the field. No, I mean, he replaced it with Cacturn, not Umbreon. My brain got confused because Umbreon was currently on the field. But yes, I meant Cacturn. In one of them he has Cacturn, the other... Does he ever have Shiftry? Maybe he always has Cacturn. Has been kind of a while since I fought, Sydney? Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Umbreon has a lot of HP and, well, I mean, it's got a lot of defenses too, so please don't hit good. Okay, depending on how things go, I might lose my perfect win streak here. Suicune has everything not very effective against that Crawdaunt, so... As much as I don't like that thing spreading around Confuse Rays, I'm going to take that out because it's harder for the rest of my team to take down. Oh, I just realized, like, I was going to say, oh, I could Toxic the Umbreon, and then I just realized, oh, wait, Synchronize, yeah. My own ability working against me. I could Taunt it. I'm probably faster thanks to... Twice in a row! And fainting from it. That's not good. Should I bring Luna? Okay, Sun is out. I'm not feeling too worried about potential water moves, and at least I've reset the Intimidate drop. Okay, you've gained a drop of your own, though. Body Slam. Didn't know you could even learn that. Is that a tutor move, or do you get that naturally? I thought I would paralyze for a second. Sun's out. That's interesting. I don't even know what Suicune will do. Just Ice Beam into the Umbreon, just in case the Fire Blast doesn't KO it. Which it might not. I mean, Umbreon is very defensive. Yeah, see, taking a Sun-boosted Fire Blast, Sun-boosted Stab Fire Blast. Couldn't use Surf because that would have been weakened by the Sun, but this is probably not going to finish it off either. Nope, it's not. Yeah, see, Umbreon's bulk is pretty amazing. It would have been funny if that had froze, but it did not. Guess I'm kind of tasting my own medicine here, feeling the, you kind of go for a makeshift Parafuse strategy there, aren't you? But yeah, feeling the bulk of my own Pokemon, but yeah, that was kind of to be expected. Body Slam has a very high chance of paralysis. Getting it in 2 is probably not that uncommon. I don't know if Ice Beam will actually finish the Umbreon, but we'll see. Okay, it did, that's fine. But yeah, it took a lot of effort to take that Umbreon down. And you're still spamming Body Slam. It's doing quite a bit of damage, though. Oh, great, I'm Parafused. Well, I at least got an attack in. Just surprising. While Parafused. That did about as much as it did to Suicune with its attack. No more Sun. That means I need to be worried about potential Crab Hammers. Which sounds like a funny thing to say. I mean, they're both not very effective. That'll probably hit harder. Okay, so I do have Lunasaur Wings. Wow, that did way more than I thought. Well, I know why I'm switching out next turn. Hit through Parafusion twice, unfortunately the second didn't matter. Yeah, because the AI almost always targets the one weak to fire with dive if there's one available, so... Switching out here, even though I don't think the dive would have KO'd anyway. Oh, right! Surf hits when you're underwater! Just realized that a second before the animation went off. That's kind of funny how the animation works there. And thus, Crawdaunt, faints while it is inside the platform. So, yeah, that's kind of awkward. And here I was, hoping there'd only be one non-perfect win in this area. Mono Water, but with a Skarmory and a Golbat for some reason. I guess the Skarmory could get its weakness lowered by Rain, which I'm expecting she's going to use, so I'm a little bit worried about this, because if you remember back to story mode about battle, a Rain Dance trainer utterly wrecked me. I only won that because I... Wait, no, did I? I don't think I used any items there, so, yeah. Okay, I suppose I have the potential to win this, so let me just check who I did not bring the one who saved me from that battle last time, which is probably a very bad thing. Okay, if anyone's going to be setting up Rain Dance here, it's probably the Kingdra. So if I can neutralize the Kingdra before it does anything, I might be able to Fire Blast that Skarmory. Okay, good. I've had a lot of luck with Sleep Powder. So yeah, so that's another thing. I tend to miss more with Fire Blast than I do with Sleep Powder, despite the fact that Sleep Powder has worse accuracy. It's really weird, but that's just how things are with me for some reason. Well, I hit with Fire Blast that time. And I took out the Skarmory, so at least it didn't get a chance to, because I'm sure that they would have gone for Rain Dance. Speaking of Rain Dance, Feraligatr seems like the kind of Pokemon that would really benefit from Swift Swim if it had it. It doesn't get... No, Sheer Force is its hidden ability, isn't it? Pretty sure it's Sheer Force. And now, Dan Green is not exactly in the best situation. I'm just going to go ahead and... let's double up on the Feraligatr. Just because. It's the only thing that's awake that's on the field right now. Yeah, this is back to what I expect of Jumpluff, unfortunately. Annoying that I got a Naughty Nature, and it doesn't really have any good physical moves to use, but I suppose Return, but... Okay, what horrors will the Feraligatr unleash upon us? Mud Sport! I didn't know you even learned that! Wow! Yeah, that was a horror, surely. Like, the horror was that, why would you even use that move? I'm horrified that your trainer is that dumb. Seriously, Mudsport for... I mean, I'm sure that's an egg move. That has to be an egg move. Okay, Starmie. That Pokemon is... Well, I would say it's likely to be more of a threat, but then again, we did see a Mudsport for Feraligatr earlier in this battle. Nice crit there. Still asleep. Let's just double up on the Starmie. People in the comments have pointed out to me that Starmie's defenses are actually a lot higher than I thought they were. But anyway, also, it's also been pointed out to me that Starmie has lost its OU ever since Gen 1 status. It went to UU in, I think, Gen 6 or something, or... no perfect win for me here, but that's fine. Don't really need any more of them. I mean, either of them are going to be useful here. Finally woke up. Are you going to be... No Rain Dance. That's almost certainly going to jump off Normal Slot, so Soul's eating that and barely did anything. And no Freeze, which is good, and I'm just going to finish off the Starmie. This is going to end... I assume that Kingdra would have tried to go for Rain Dance if I hadn't put it to sleep on the first turn, but... I don't know whether that would have made this fight any harder, though. But yes, again, there was a Mud Sport for Feraligatr in this battle, so maybe it wouldn't have gone for Rain Dance. So, area leader of Area 6, we're 70 battles down. I have no idea what this team is. Also, my control pad stopped responding for a second there. I should mention, the GameCube controller that I'm using to play this game is the GameCube controller that I would have used to play Colosseum for the very first time on the GameCube. Yes, I still have my original GameCube controller, and it still seems to work just fine. I mean, the control stick's, like, thumb pad is incredibly worn out. It's basically the whole thing is sort of disintegrated off, but I mean, the padding is still there. Just kind of realizing that the area leaders are using the exact same music as the rest of the area. In XD, every area leader uses the Cypher Admin battle theme, which I thought made a bit more sense, and meant that I'd always go back to rebattle the area leaders just because I love that game's Cypher Admin battle theme so much, even though it is on a very short loop. Okay, I need to Shadow Ball that thing before Soul gets it. Yeah, Soul is in the lead here, right? Wait a minute. I didn't mean to have Soul in the lead. That's why my control pad wasn't responding. It's because I was trying to press a direction that I'd already pressed. I wanted Suicune in the lead. So, this is actually not that good, but I'm gonna make the most of it. That one probably wasn't necessary. I was aiming for Psychic on the Golem. So yeah, I guess I should have thought twice before I accused my controller of malfunctioning there. This controller still seems to be working perfectly fine. Stupid, sexy rock? Well, for once it wasn't Kickface who fell for a bizarre attract. And in that case, it means that this thing is probably going to get obliterated. Alternatively, Soul could just obliterate it. Let's see. Not quite, but this should finish it. And unnecessary critical. So that wasn't too bad. I would have liked it if I'd got through this area with only one non-perfect win, but all perfect wins except 2 isn't bad. But it is taking me a little bit longer to get through these areas, which should definitely indicate that things are getting a little bit harder. It's kind of interesting, almost all of the earlier areas were almost exactly 30 minutes of raw time. Or even 31. Let's see. That's quite a lot of poker coupons. But we'll be advancing, it'll be in the next video, but I'll definitely be advancing in this recording session, so I'll see you next time for Area 8.